So today I wanted to talk about an episode of Pokemon Horizons. So with Pokemon Horizons, I've obviously always loved the Pokemon anime for quite some time now. I've really always appreciated Team Rocket and that TV show, but unfortunately, this new anime does not have Team Rocket, but it does have something quite sincere to offer that I felt like I would delve into today's video. Pokemon Horizons has only just started, so I can't make any grand sweeping conclusions just yet, but there is one episode I would like to focus on. Episode 18 of the show is called Flying Pikachu, Rising Higher and Higher. This episode serves as an origin story for one of the major characters, Freed. Freed is a funny guy, and quite a motivated man to say the least. While he may have trouble informing people what his plans are, he always manages to save the day. So the interesting thing about the angle of this episode is that we find out Freed was not always like this. So Freed, after graduating and getting a career, he did not feel a renewed or strengthened sense of purpose. No, instead he fell into a state of ennui, or lack of occupation and boredom. It's an interesting depiction and a surprisingly honest one in this otherwise very colorful and adventurous show. Because we see here, whereas on a societal level, we are expected to find satisfaction and joy in completing the steps laid out ahead of us. But as we see through Freed, this isn't always the case. For Freed, he feels an overwhelming sense that he has seen and heard all that there is to be seen and heard. The end of his education did not make him more curious, it actually stomped out his sense of curiosity. I suppose this means what I said earlier was wrong about Freed not always being adventurous and motivated. He actually was, he had just temporarily lost it in this stage of his life. So this rigid system that he attempted to conform to only removed his love of life and the world around him. What is revealed, however, is that it isn't actually that difficult to reignite this passion and adventurous attitude. All it took was a friend, really, to point them in another direction. And that direction was a Pikachu that had managed to teach itself to fly, which, in the context of the show, was never seen before. What this showed was that Freed only needed one example to disprove this rigid world structure that was placed upon him by society. Pikachu isn't meant to fly, yet it didn't abide by that rule, and as such did something new, shattering the idea that we have to be what we are told to be, and shattering the idea that we know everything. Which is a good thing. When we live with the illusion that we know what everything means and how everything goes, we lose our curiosity and our perception of what is out there is warped. When we realize how little we know, so many doors are opened and life is no longer stagnated. Now, that may sound overwhelming, but as the show states over and over again, the first step is usually the most difficult. But once we do that, life is so much better for it. There's a lot this world has to offer, and it is fulfilling to go out there. That ends it for the bigger message side of things. I think I'll use the next half or so of this video to do just kind of a more general review. I quite like this show so far. The new characters are all gems. Murdoch is amazing. He makes really good food. He's just a good cook. He brings people together with his food. He had a rivalry with another guy, but they brought it back together and cooked together. Then there is Dot. She's quite the good character. I really like that her feelings are treated with respect. She likes to remain by herself most of the time, and that isn't treated like a character flaw. Her anxiety over social interactions, too, isn't treated like a flaw. She's allowed, for the most part, to not attend social interactions that she doesn't want to attend. As for her and Liko's friendship, it takes a lot of time for that to happen, and with a lot of effort from both sides. Liko does push Dot to leave her comfort zone, but I don't think she ever carries it too far, at least never in a way that isn't addressed. What's even better is that Dot isn't treated as weak or lazy just because she doesn't get out as much. In fact, she runs a very important job. Overall, I believe this is a much needed depiction, and Dot does learn things and makes connections. But what I am saying is that, so far at least, her arc isn't she was afraid of parties and now she likes parties. Ludlow, he's a chill guy, spouting wisdom, just goes along with everything. I actually like his relationship with Dot, even though we only see it in brief glimpses. Rico's grandmother, too, usually quite absent, but I like that she can see things from the Pokemon perspective. Like, there are these Pokemon that steal food, but she isn't as upset about it as the other characters, because to her, why should Pokemon have to conform to the societal standards of humans, especially if they have been cast away from that society for one reason or another? I mean, a Pokemon has to eat. It really isn't that heinous. And then at the end of that episode, they just give the Pokemon free food anyway. That was nice, actually. Then we got Amethio. He's serious. I love seeing how he is very dedicated to his job, and his motivation seems pretty real feeling to me. He doesn't seem evil, nor does he seem he just wants destruction like some of his peers. I hope we find out more about his motivation down the line. He isn't like the previous villains. We're already seeing development with him. I'm interested to see where this goes. It looks like he really wants to expand his power. Wait, and speaking of which, that's who I miss the most. There's no Team Rocket, no Jesse, no James, no Meowth, no Wobbuffet. These are the best characters ever to be put on screen and are endlessly entertaining and relatable. They deserve a cameo at the very least. I mean, they weren't even all that bad. They helped save the world in one episode. I think it was called To Create a Better Union. They cheered on Pikachu on multiple occasions. I mean, honestly, like, what are they gonna do? Make the Pokemon unethically fight each other against their will? Oh wait. Let's end it here before the video gets too long. Anyway, that's all I got for today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.